You got questions, we've got answers. Just ask Kenan.
What's going on, Kenan here? It is time for another question of yours to be answered. It's the Ask Kamp Kenan Saturday question. These questions come from our Patreon supporters. If you would like to become a Patreon supporter, why don't you go to patreon.com/Kamp Kenan. You can help us out. Continue to make fun, educational videos about reptiles and amphibians and other animals as they come on into my life. We're actually out front, and I'm just checking out my 2 aquascape ecosystem ponds. Today's question does not have a name attached to it, so I do not have, I don't know who this is, I can't shout you out, but I'm going to go ahead and read the question. Kenan, with the current proposal of the federal animal ban, which is called the Traveling Exotic Animal and Public Safety Protection Act, or TSPSPA, if this bill was to pass, what effects will it have on Kamp Kenan and the future of conservation? All right, well, first I might as well just tell you guys what the bill's all about. To be perfectly honest, I didn't really pay attention until I got this question. So I went online, I researched the bill a little bit. Basically, the way the bill's written, it is a ban on public performances, meaning traveling circuses, things of that nature, anything done in front of a studio audience. Here are the kids, they're hanging out. So anything done in front of a studio audience, right? Which is kind of interesting, but it excludes movies, and it excludes television performances and things like that. I'm going to sit down and relax here for a minute, and I'm going to read to you exactly what it says, and then I'll get into why this is good, bad, or whatever. Okay. This bill amends the Animal Welfare Act to establish a prohibition on the use of exotic or wild animals in performances. For example, circuses, rides, carnival, or parade of a traveling animal act. Now that's interesting, right? The prohibition does not apply to the use of animals in zoos, aquariums, research facilities, film, television, or advertising if the performance is not before a public studio audience. And of course, they are allowing rodeos to continue. The prohibition does not apply to domesticated animals or farm animals. Okay, so what is that all about? Basically, it sounds like it's not a big deal, right? It's talking about circuses and things like that. What are you trying to do? You trying to get something to eat? Huh? What are you trying to do? What are you guys up to? But here's the problem. The problem is so many times these bills get snuck into Congress and they go before legislature, and they're being written by radical animal rights activists. Now, I care about animal welfare, obviously. I mean, that's all I do here. I care about conservation. I care about keeping these animals healthy and happy. I think a very good majority of all of us feel the same way. So that's one thing I just want to state right off the bat. Wow, no, those are my new shorts, man. What are you doing? Good grief, Darwin. Darwin's liking these blue shorts. So I want to keep my animals happy and healthy. I think most of us do. But there's a problem, because what happens with the way the bill's written is there's a lot of language in there, and the language is designed to be interpreted in many different ways. In years past, I don't do it very much any longer, but in years past, I would go do educational programs, and I would bring some animals with me, and I'd go to a school, or I'd go to some kind of activity, birthday party, things of that nature. And many of us out there in the reptile world do the same thing, and a lot of people in the conservation world do the same thing. I know my friends at Bush Wildlife do it. My friends over at McCarthy's Wild Animal Sanctuary do it. So it is a way to kind of connect the public with these amazing animals, okay? Nowadays what I do is I pretty much focus on these YouTube videos, and my home has become something of the set. And so I don't really like traveling with my animals because it's a lot of work. That being said, There are many people that do it, and the animals are rotated in and out of service. So basically the animals they're not going 24/7, and that makes sense. You don't want to do that. You don't want to stress those animals out. And I really think these outreach programs where we go to schools or birthday parties even, or in many cases, any kind of public appearance with the animals is of great value to the animals and people. These animals become ambassadors, and the people that then are able to interact with the animals are better for it, in my opinion. When we've isolated ourselves from the natural world to such a degree that it's just incredible when you really think about the lack of knowledge people have for animals in the natural world in general. In many ways, human beings have domesticated themselves. And this is a problem because no matter how much concrete is between us and the earth, we are still a part of it. And so you guys know that my channel exists to kind of get people excited about animals again. Whether it be keeping them, providing them all the information that they need to kind of raise these animals in a naturalistic and lifelike way, in a very enriched environment, or whether it's just simply making sure people come away with a deeper understanding of animals that generally people fear. That's been the whole goal. I love doing that. And to be perfectly honest, I enjoy many times just getting people psyched that normally they don't really care about animals, but they see the passion that I have and others like myself have for these beautiful creatures, and they come away with a newfound respect because they connect with the animals through me as an ambassador, the animals as an ambassador. And so they have a little bit more respect, a little bit more knowledge of animals we share our planet with. Now, the problem with the way the bill is written and the problem with how it's being sold is there's a lot of mistruths. There's a lot of kind of lies. They're trying to say that, an Animal Education Act makes the animal do things that they wouldn't normally do. And, we're not talking about tigers jumping through hoops of flaming fires or a bear riding a unicycle, anything like that. If that's what we're talking about, guys, I'm all for the act. Personally, for me, I don't think a circus where an animal is made to perform these just ridiculous feats is of any real value to the audience, saving, oh wow, that's exciting, I got to see a bear ride a unicycle. And it's certainly not benefiting the animal. But here's an idea: rather than ban that, why don't you just make it illegal for animals to do that and turn this into something that can benefit people and the animals, where circuses would have to do education instead. I mean, there's a thought. Instead of banning it, why don't we just modernize it? Why don't we make it better for the animals if these animals are already in captivity? Problem is, most of the animals that people want to see in circuses are very large animals that require so much space to roam and behave naturally. We're talking, of course, about the big cats and elephants and just animals that really let's be honest, they're just not really made to be in those kind of close confines. And I understand the idea that these animals are always traveling. But again, back to what we do, back to educational programs. I think that it would be a huge disservice for that to happen if they were to ban it. So until the bill gets written in a way that excludes education, that excludes something of that nature, so that people can still go out there and do these amazing programs and educate people, as long as the animals are being rotated out, and when they go back to their home, they have nice enclosures. I would want to see the bill kind of amended and made sure that the language is written differently so that we don't kind of cut our noses off to spite our face. Because I've said it many times, I probably have a lot in common with people that are working with PETA or the Humane Society. We love animals. They take it to another level because they believe that no animal should be in captivity. I disagree. There are some animals that absolutely have to be in captivity because their natural habitat is gone, or it's dwindling, or they just need other people to get involved to help reproduce them. And zoos do a wonderful job of this. And here's something that most people don't understand, is that there are private people like myself that have these animals that work with zoos. And we all work in concert. The conservationists, the zoos, the private keepers, we work together to make sure these animals will be on Earth for many, many years to come. So if you're asking, how do I feel if that bill gets passed as is, it would be disastrous for conservation in the long run. Because when we take away our ability to educate the public, even at a local level, okay? I'm talking just the people all over the place that do these jobs day in and day out, educating the public. We are going to create more of a schism and more of a divide, and I think that will not benefit the animals or human beings. But if it is to keep animals from being abused in circuses, to be made to perform tricks that personally I don't really care to see. I'd rather see a nature program or go to Africa and view these animals in a zoo, a really well done zoo. Those are the ways the animals should live. So that's my thought. I hope it makes sense, everybody. And I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Don't forget to go to patreon.com/Kamp Kenan, where we will get more questions. You guys go ahead and post them up there. We'll answer them here on the channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the Kamp Kenan Army channel for more original content. And on Patreon, you can be rest assured there'll be some content you will not see anywhere else. So thanks so much. Like and subscribe, guys. And let's be good to animals, all right? Let's learn. That's the important thing when it comes to taking care of these critters. See you guys.